What's up? So I look super sunburned, but welcome back to our video. Or if you're new here, my name's Miles, 23-year-old full-time Amazon seller, and that's what we talk about here on my channel, how to make more money doing online arbitrage on Amazon FBA. The video you're about to watch is kind of atypical for what you typically see on my channel. It's a presentation I did with one of my friends' reselling groups, so probably best to consume it more of a podcast style, although there is some screen sharing in there, but a rare chance to share my story that I don't think I've shared yet really on the channel. So kind of getting into some stuff of my, background, how I got into Amazon and all that. So make sure you watch through the whole thing. You'll pick up some stuff you won't normally see me talk about on here and everything like that. And let's get right into the video.
Give a little introduction about yourself, how you got started, everything.
Yeah, absolutely. So it kind of starts back to 2011 is when I sold my first thing online. I bought some Legos and I paid the dude. I mailed a check. And then I was like, oh, he sold them to me. Like I bought them on this like eBay type site that wasn't eBay, it was just for Legos and everything like that. And then I started selling stuff through there, started making friends online right through different Lego stuff, right? And then 3 years later, a kid from Legos was like, dude, like I got all these nice shoes. I was like, how you getting them? Because we like knew each other pretty well, just like online and everything. And he's like, I've been reselling stuff, right? So he like puts me on. I had some money because I like naturally just liked bartering and selling stuff. So I really liked like trading Legos with people like crazy. And this was over a site called Flickr. Back in the day, I'll probably share the portfolio stuff I made back in the day too at some point. I was actually thinking about that today, but so 2014, he's like telling me about flipping shoes. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I'm a basketball player, so I like, I've always kind of been tapped into knowing what shoes are about and everything like that. So he gets me going. I had $160. I bought these Jordans from a senior on my lacrosse team, sold them for $220 through Facebook groups back in the day. Made a little bit of money. That kid who initially showed me it eventually scammed me out of $500, but for whatever reason, I just kind of like the reselling stuff, so I kept doing it. And everything like that. Did that throughout high school. And then in 2017, I started selling on these apps called StockX and Go, which are actually very big now. And then about a year and a half after that, algorithms are good. Got hit with the YouTube video talking about selling books on Amazon. I was like, damn, like you can sell on Amazon. These people are talking about selling everything. It's commonplace to think like we're selling shoes, vacuum cleaners, toys, Legos, all that kind of stuff. And I was like, I did not know you could do that. I had just done shoes for like a few years and I never really made much money with that. But that was conveniently, it was about 2 months after I had my first $1,000 profit month flipping shoes. And then the month after that, my first 5K month, and I was 19 at the time, or I guess 20. So I was a sophomore in college. And then that next summer, I was an unpaid intern. I was living away from home. Didn't really have much to do. Kind of lived by myself, just doing my thing, like doing the intern stuff. And I was like, let me try that Amazon stuff, right? So I started doing books because back in the day, no one knew how to get ungated, or no one told me if they knew. It's actually, I'd say, and we can talk about this later, I think it's a lot easier to start now than it used to be. And I'll get in that later, but basically did only books from summer 2019 to about March 2020. Big world event happened then. Couldn't get any more books because there were no thrift stores and I was like buying from college kids at the time. So that dried up, kept doing the reselling thing, found Money Twitter in June 2020. Spent the rest of that year trying to build a social media, like a service-based Facebook ads agency for local businesses, and reselling still. I really liked it and everything. Wasn't making a ton of money, probably like 3 to 5K a month profit around that. Just finishing up college and everything like that. But it was at that point when I realized I was probably going to figure out how to make money online, at a full-time rate, right? So I ended up finishing college early, just like doing some extra classes and stuff during like 2019 and then 2020. So did that. And then in February 2021, which feels like just yes, and I guess it was like 15 months ago, whatever. So it was very, very recent. I was tweeting often. I was doing Instagram. Like the Filter Miles page has been around for like over 3 years now. So the key was that I was building leverage the whole time, right? I was meeting people. I was, getting to know different people that looking back were like super successful. And I'm like super excited that I was able to get to know them. I try to, help people out the same way today. And I was watching a Gary Vee video, the GOAT, and he was like, you better respond to every comment on your social media. Like, I can't believe, how would you not do that? And everything like that. So I was like, Gary, I'm not just going to respond to everyone. I'm going to message the people. I ended up messaging this dude who now is named Garrett. I do the podcast with him. We've done a ton of stuff on Amazon together. he showed me a lot of the initial ropes. And then, so last March, first 30K in revenue month. Last August, first 100K, November 200K, December 300K. Still trying to get another 300K, like revenue month, obviously, because it's really easy in December. Last month, about 260, all online arbitrage. Working on getting it mostly online arbitrage to prep centers. I do it all myself, no VAs. I do all my own sourcing just because I'm like pretty good at a few things sourcing wise. So I do that, and then I tweet about it as much as I can. So that's what I do, and just sell some stuff on Amazon and then try to talk about it online as much as possible.
That's awesome, man. I forget when we first connected. I think it was when you were still, didn't you have your shoe flipping? Didn't you have a shoe
back
flipping?
In the day? Yeah, man.
I think I DM'd you. We went back and forth with each other a few times, just a few messages here, but like almost taking a sidestep from like just reselling. You hit on a good point, which I think it's been extremely valuable to me. It's been extremely valuable to you, is not necessarily just like sourcing products, but it's making connections with people. And because I know, like, I'm sure there's people in your group and in other groups, and myself included, where you connect with, like, you may be a part of a group with maybe it's 200 people, maybe there's 1,000 people, maybe there's 15,000 members. Like you guys got close to 20,000, I think. You find like a select few of people within that group, and you just start bouncing ideas and sharing tips with each other, and that projects your growth extremely fast. Like, I'm sure that's what happened with you.
Yeah, I mean, 1 + 1 = 3 with this kind of stuff, right? Because the reason we're here talking about this stuff is because no one in real life probably knows about this, has any idea about selling on Amazon. What about taxes? 90% of businesses fail. We've all heard it all and everything like that. So yeah, that's huge, right? The guys I started with last like late February, I told you about Garrett from the DM. There were 2 other guys in our group chat. We still have it today. This dude, Jake from California, and then this dude, Danny, I actually went to high school with. So we all started pretty much at zero right around that last March. We all kind of had entrepreneurial tendencies. We had done like shoes in the past, some of the other stuff and everything like that. And combined as a group, we've probably done like 7 or 8 mil, maybe like 10 in sales since then. I'm only like 1.7 of that and everything like that. But like those guys are like big heavy hitters too. But that's like a lot of the stuff we would go in together. We would FaceTime and Zoom probably pretty much every day. Like there's only been like a day or two that we missed that we haven't like masterminded since then. So that's like, yeah. And it's naturally, I would say, like, talking about this stuff, you find people you vibe with, and it's normally not just about reselling. It's like this person likes sports too, or this person's from the same geographic area, something like that. Commonalities, right? And you find people that you bond with, not just over reselling, different stuff like that. And that's why I think putting yourself out there is so important. And that's benefited you and I greatly over the years.
100%. I mean, it's like, for me personally, like a lot of things wouldn't have happened over the past couple of years for me if I just didn't try to connect with people, if I didn't answer DMs, or if I didn't, just comment on people's stuff. And so I think that's just a side of reselling that I think people forget, is like just connect with people. I can't tell you, I mean, over the past, I still do a decent amount of RA, and the amount of people I talk to, and actually really recently just managers talking to managers, I'm working out deals with them. So not necessarily a wholesale level, but like I'm, looking at, some detergent the other day that's discontinued. I know it's not necessarily worth it right now, but once people sell out, it's going to be the bomb. And I just went up to him, I was like, hey, you got this pallet here. It's listed at this price. Would you come down if I bought the whole thing? And just talking with people, because he sees me in there weekly, and he's like, yeah, I'll do this for it. And so like just making those connections in store, and people always ask what you're doing. Like, why are you buying, 40 bottles of shampoo? And I'm like, oh, this is why, and I'll show you. And they're amazed, and it's cool just to make connections with that. So
yeah, I mean, I think that stuff's everything, right? Just like all the relationship based stuff, and all that, right? And I talk all about competitive advantages. When I get into like tactical Amazon stuff, it's all about competitive advantages, like ungating, sales tax advantages, that kind of thing. That's my jam. That's what a lot of what I operate in is like heavily gated categories that the average Amazon seller wouldn't be able to get ungated, right? You know, even toys, for example, right? I mean, I did Amazon for like 2 years and I had no idea, or a year and a half, and I had no idea even how to get it unlocked. And that's why I say it's a lot easier to start now than it was like back in 2019. Even that's like only 3 years ago, whatever. But yeah, I think that's, you know, super important and everything like that. And, you know, I would agree in terms of that. And right, that's another example, right? Talking to those managers, that's a competitive advantage that you wouldn't have gotten if you weren't putting yourself out there and talking to people. So that and who knows what that'll lead to.
Yeah, I mean, it could be anything, but I think everyone has a competitive advantage. They just got to figure out what it is. Like I've been working with this guy one-on-one for a month now. And so he crushes Costco because he used to work there. So he understands how it works.
Oh yeah.
So he understands the process. He understands how their markdowns work. He knows when it's going to get marked down or if it's going to be an item that'll eventually be marked down. And so he crushes it.
Beautiful thing.
And so a lot of people probably have some sort of, maybe it's just have an advantage of being open and talking to people. Maybe it's, you know, asking the right questions is a competitive advantage.
Yeah. I love to bet, like, you know, I mean, you get DMs all day, right? You can tell if someone's going to succeed from what questions they're asking.
Yep.
You know, like you get the help me get started, which you know, that's what I'm here to do, obviously. But right, you clearly, if you were able to get into my DMs, you see me talking about this stuff all day. You can put a lot of pieces together on your own, right? The other side of things, so there's the one like, help me, I don't know how to do it, right? Whatever, but which is fine, you know. But those people, there's a lot lower probability that end up succeeding. And then the flip side is like, hey, you know, I joined your free group, I watched some videos already. How do you get ungated in this? Or like, how much should I test buy of this? They're like, okay, that guy put a lot of stuff together on his own, right? Okay, this guy's, you know, having success, right? So it makes a little bit more sense to give that person just an unfair advantage in terms of, right, I can see this dude's putting in work, you know, let me, you know, help him with this and everything like that. And that's not to say I'm out here like, you know, not responding to people or anything like that, but it just makes so much more sense that like you can tell that person's going to succeed. And so I don't know, I just, you know, the quality of your questions, I think it's a Tony Robbins quote or something like that. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of questions you ask or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, seriously, with the people who are asking the good questions, like there's such a higher probability to succeed because, you know, they're acting on their own.
No, yeah. I mean, you bring up such a good point because, yeah, like you said, the way they ask the questions, it's not how do I, like the how do I get started from someone who has no idea, I completely understand.
Oh yeah.
But like there's someone who's been talking about doing it for like 6 months and then eventually says,
yeah,
how do I get started? I'm like, I'm not sure if you've been paying attention. I'm not sure if you watched any type of videos. I'm not sure if you've joined a group or you've bought a course or you've just gone. I mean, you can find everything if you really want to. And so I like, for me, from like a coaching perspective, I would rather work with someone for free who is determined to get somewhere than have someone pay me for someone who's not going to do anything on their own. Because for me, it's like money doesn't matter. It's just kind of a waste of time because like I said, I want to see people succeed at the end of the day. That's all that matters to me. Like I want to see whether their goal is to make an extra $1,000 profit or if it's $20,000 profit. I just want people to crush goals. So you'll know, like you said, you'll know early on, usually in a couple of weeks, if they're going to hit those goals, if they're on track to hit those goals eventually or not.
Yeah, and you have to become, in my opinion, and this is like, right, I'm 23, what do I know? But you know, it took me a while to start making like 10 grand a month profit. And it sounds like from what it took you a while as well, right? But then it was incredibly easier to go from 10 to 20 consistently than it was 0 to 10 or 0 to 5. Way easier. Right. I'm sure you'd agree with that, dude. Because right, it's repeating successful actions. That's it.
It could be the generalization, but you've seen the tweets. Your first $100,000 is your hardest that you make online. Doesn't matter if it's reselling, if you're doing coaching, if you're doing agency sales, whatever it could be. And it's so true because in that first 100,000, you're going to struggle a lot more. But then really after you make that first 100,000, whether it's sales, profit, whatever, you should have a really good understanding, or a much better understanding than when you started. And then you just replicate the process on a bigger scale, or you fine tune some processes, or you get better at a couple different things that increase, profit margins, whatever it may be.
Yeah, and getting reselling specific, right? To do like $1,000 in sales from zero, right? All right, I gotta learn how to read Keepa charts. I have to have money to buy products. I gotta learn how to list it. Got to do all that. Then this is hard stuff to learn, right? But then again, now you and I have been doing it for years, right? It comes a lot more second nature, but right, and that's why it's easier for us to grow it because we're used to it, right? And with this stuff, it's not whether you know it or not, it's how well you know it. And the only way to get better at it is to do it every day. Like I've been doing OA every day for 15 months. That's why I can go spend 140 grand last month on products, right? Because I have a good network where we trade stuff off each other, and I've been looking at Keepa charts every day for 15 months. But there was 2.5 years on Amazon, summer 2019 to I guess 1.5 years, until like the winter of 2021, when I was like, damn, man, I don't know how to get ungated. Like I pretty much stopped Amazon the second half of 2020 and just focused on like the StockX and like working on like the agency stuff. But I'd really say kind of just like the skills stacked on top of each other, right? Back like 10 years ago, I was learning about like making friends online, posting content. Like, I mean, I like had a shit ton of fun growing my basketball team in high school's Twitter account. Like looking back on it, it's like, that is literally all I do these days. And like the reselling stuff is like engagement, content, distribution, all that, right? It's crazy that I was doing that literally like 10 years ago as like a 13-year-old and stuff like that. And all that stuff's still there, and everything like that. And right. So I learned that. Then I learned reselling in like high school and in college and everything. And then I was doing the content about reselling at the time. That's what taught me about marketing. And then from doing the content, I built a network. And then the network was what helped me explode on Amazon and learn about Amazon the right way, actually the right way. And then that's, and like cash flow management and all that. And then, right. I mean, it took me, like I said, right. My first 50K in sales month was June of last year. And then 100K was August. And then 200 was like November, and then it keeps growing. And last month was, it's Q1, Q2, so it's harder, right? But I think I can do a lot more this December. I know I can.
Yeah. Before, because we talked about you maybe just doing some OA sourcing, like some of your tips before I share.
Yeah.
So here's what I get a lot, and this is something that I still struggle with a lot, because I do a lot of RA. For me is easy. Mm-hmm. Especially when I'm going to the same places, I know what I'm going to find, or I have a good idea. What's a big misconception that people got to get over? I know off the top of my head, it's ROI, but like when they're doing OA, but what's something people can do to get over that hump? Because I hear about people like, oh, I can't find anything to sell online or to buy online.
Yeah, because people don't want to sit down, like people can't focus, and then like it's hard. Like OA is hard, but like there's a compounding effect to OA, and there is to a sense to RA in that you can replenish stuff. It's just harder. There's operational drag to get it. To buy 500 units of something RA, it's a lot harder than OA, at least in my opinion, right? Infrastructure wise, and everything like that. And I love RA. I would look like a chicken with the head cut off if I went into Ollie's. You know what I mean? Because I've never done it before. Right. And that's the same way, right? So thinking it's easy, right? If it was easy, everyone would do it, right? That's why like we see pool listings last year, 500 sellers, right? Some of the stuff I'm selling that I've made good money off, right? 7 sellers, 14 sellers, that kind of thing, where there's a barrier to entry, right? I'm also huge about like analyzing sales tax, right? So I live in Pennsylvania. So there's no sales tax on shoes and clothing. The whole last year, or last 6 months, but pretty much the last year, I had a warehouse in Delaware. So I would buy all my toys there because that's sales tax free, right? And now I'm just using a prep center in New Hampshire. So everything is sales tax free, right? But when you operate competitive advantage wise, and it's the same thing with like understanding discount codes, how different sites work, order cancels wise, which is a ton of experimentation. Right, you can just buy stuff other people can't, right? With sales tax, right? If you're in like Florida or Cali, you got to pay like 7-8% or something for some of these items. That's the difference between buying and not buying. And more importantly, it's the difference between all 50 states being able to buy and 7 states being able to buy. Right. 10, I don't know how many it is. It's like a few, like I think South Dakota, Montana are sales tax free as well. New
Yeah.
Hampshire, Delaware, that kind of thing. I don't know specifics, but like that's why I really like OA, because it's scalable and that you can, for most stuff, you can get quantity. You know, I love wholesale too. I've just never done any of it. I'll probably start doing it eventually. Right now I just OA, just I can't get away from it for,
Yeah.
for right now.
No, I think, you know, I've gotten a little better at OA. And what I've told people, and I'm sure you would probably agree, it takes, you know, there's been times where I would spend like 2 hours and not find anything, but then you find one item. You find one, and all it takes is one item. It takes one item, you test it, you see if it works, and if it works in your mind, this is where I think people also lose a lot of potential money too. They look at, it could be a leads list, it could be from a lead from a group, it could be just one item they find on their own, and they don't get curious about it. They don't go exploring anything else in that niche or that company. Because what I've found, stuff that I've been super successful with on OA is, okay, well, this is giving me 25% margin. One, is there bundles of this?
Ooh,
Can
I
the
like
bundle,
that.
can the bundle, and that's where a lot of people miss out too, because they see Amazon on the listing where Amazon's not sharing buy box, but they don't look to see if there's a bundle that ends up being profitable. Or two, like, is there something else in this brand that Amazon's not selling, or Amazon's barely on the listing and it's profitable, or can I bundle it? Or is it a mixture? So I can, you know, when I see 10 leads, I don't see it as just 10 potential leads I can make money on. I see it as 10 different, you know, holes I could go through, rabbit holes to go through, and potentially find 15 or 20 leads. So that's the way I see it.
Yeah, and it, like Amazon, and it didn't always, I don't think it used to be like this, but you can like you can see people's review counts, and you can see like what else they're selling, right? So someone has 1,000 reviews and you have 4 reviews or 67 or whatever, they're making a lot more money than you Amazon wise. So there's a good chance the stuff they're selling some good stuff, right? They wouldn't be selling it if they weren't making money. And it's cool that at least for now, I assume they'll take that away eventually, but you're able to see, you know, what people are selling and everything like that. And there's a good chance, right? Say you're doing RA, you find a good RA product, whatever, the other people on that listing are probably doing RA as well. So then you can go see what they're moving and you get an idea of other stuff. And this is the reason why I like this stuff. One is it's duplicatable and that you can screen record yourself and have VAs do it eventually, which I ironically don't do. I just like really like sourcing and have like refunds and stuff like that. And it's scalable and it's dependent on only you, and that you'll have way lower competition on items you find yourself.
Right.
Naturally based on the way stuff works.
Beautiful. Love it. So I want to give you, I'm going to make you host, and you want to.
Yeah, I have the screen share ready to roll on that. So yeah, there's just because it's tough to screen share just because sensitive information Nitro, but I got it ready to roll where we can go through it and not have to worry about it.
You should be good to roll.
Yeah, cool. So jumping on screen share right here. This is just like basic, reverse sourcing like this. I can come through. The reason why I'm starting out with grade value is because we know people are only arbitraging that, right? Because grade value is a Walmart private label brand. So there's a good chance, right? People aren't wholesaling it from Walmart. So we know that our competition on these listings are probably going to be arbitrage sellers, right? So that's who we are. So that's the people we want to be competing with. And coming down, want to be looking at only stuff that Amazon's not on. I always start here, so I'm going to start on a different one. But we can see the amount of FBA sellers, and right, they're all grade values, so they're going to be pretty comparable. Let's find one with a moderate rank, 100K, 196. Damn, 992, but Amazon's on, and it's not even grade value here. All right, I guess we will start with this one. Okay, so coming here, just going to move this over here. We'll see SellerAmp pop up. This is very necessary. The only stuff you need, in my opinion, to do OA, at least, the reverse method is just SellerAmp right here. It's $23 a month. Keep, you guys know that. Definitely, we got that here. Come down, immediately see this ton of competition on this for the rank. I'm staying far away from it, but just to get an idea, right? Immediately when I come to a listing, I want to see who's making money on it, right? So come here, data, buy box statistics, and something like this, a bunch of people recently got on, but the key is that I don't have to worry about 30 days, right? I'm just trying to see who's making money on it, right? This is clearly not a product that's going to work. Like it's a bundle and it's $13. We'd have to pay $1 per hopping on the Google there. Oh, so it'd actually kind of be close, but either way, not worth it profitability wise. And it's going to keep going lower just because of the competition, right? So coming here, we got the 30-day chart here, pop it out to the 180 and we'll see who's actually making money on it. We can see based on the seller count, it was a great product for a while. I mean, I don't love that rank, but just competition wise, I mean, people were sitting on it. The price was fairly stable, you know, across a whole year. Yep. This was like a whole quarter where it was like pretty much the same thing. These dudes were sitting on it. I have a good feeling when we pop it out to the 365 that the dudes at the top are going to have a lot of reviews, the dudes who were sitting on it. And bang, okay, 152, pretty good. 4,000, they probably millionaires right here, or millions in sales for sure, right? So we could say, okay, these guys are making money, right? It's an arbitrageable product. So these are giant arbitrage sellers. So we probably want to, you know, go see what's up with them, right? And they're also all FBA. I wouldn't really look up FBM people just because they might be drop shipping. Like you can see here, I bet this listing had a bunch of people drop shipping it on SellerAmp here. You guys should really be using SellerAmp. It's pretty awesome. And then right here, we can just
we actually have that SellerAmp coming on webinar next week.
Oh, all right. So definitely come to that as well. So right, we just want to see who we're going to take a look at here. 4,000 reviews, and you can see, right, I'm scrolling over and I want to look at the specific people. We can see their review counts when they're coming up here. So just jumping in here, this guy had a bunch of reviews, so there's a good chance when we come into this guy's store he's going to have thousands of ASINs, and I'm just going to skip that just because that's too much to look through. When we'll see. Oh, okay. So, right, this guy's probably been on Amazon for a while, but if he has that amount of reviews, he's made a whole bunch of money with this. And we can tell, hopping in here, heavy on Equate, which I think is an Amazon private label brand, and Great Value, I know is an Amazon private, or is a Walmart. Yeah, Walmart. And we can see here, very arbitrageable categories here. The nice thing is, I'm just trying to move this zoom. Yeah, there we go. So we can see that immediately the first stuff that's going to pop up is his quickest moving stuff, or at least for the most part, the quickest moving stuff. You can also, nice thing on SellerAmp, if you're, you know, if you're loyal to specific brands, you can directly filter this in here, which is cool. This guy's crushing Equate, so we can see what's good with that. So we can filter it right here to Equate. We got that up. I can immediately see the keep it here. So I'm not going to search anything that Amazon's on, which nicely, Amazon, it doesn't look to be on any Equate. And I'm not going to search anything that the buy box is under 15, just because I need price variance. You know, I need to be able to reprice. I need to have some price flexibility over time naturally, because if I find something good, someone else probably is as well. So I'm not going to look up any of that. 15 on a bundle, not going to work just for the operational drag of it. 15 once again, a 20. All right, here we go. This is the exact type of thing. We're just talking about bundles, and here's another one, right? So, right, and then literally just one click with SellerAmp, see what's good with these. Keepo looks fine. Wouldn't look up this one just because Amazon's on it. But these two, we can pop this up here, just kind of show you my psychology, walking through everything. So we have 26 right here. So we're trying to pay, like, in a perfect world, right? I mean, $6 a unit, right? 12 total. Yep. That's nice. I haven't super looked at this Keepa, but it looks gorgeous. I mean, that's like a replan, guys, right? We'll do the same thing as we come back here. And once again, very different items than we're seeing here. This is probably, it's definitely like a reseller made this listing, probably just based off that. It's definitely a reseller listing, which is clearly people made money on it. You know what I mean? I'm not even finding this item on the Google search, right? But just looking at this Keepa, right, there was good money made on this product. You know what I mean? Just looking at this, right? Like people were on it for a while over time. Damn, I wonder what happened here. This was that was 2018, man. A bunch of people were hopping on this in 2018. Yeah. But for whatever reason, popping out back here. So we got this other one. So we don't want that. Oh, I actually Googled the wrong one. All right, let me see if we can actually find that again. Okay, 856. So assuming that's the right count, that's not going to work though. 2 packs here. All right, so we'll keep moving on that. And I'm not a beauty grocer guy. I know a lot of people who are, that make a bunch of money with it. I'm not personally, so that's why I'm not like the best at sourcing this kind of stuff. But it's the easiest in my opinion as a beginner, just because the ASP is really low and the ungates are easy. With that comes increased competition naturally, right? Everyone can get tax exempt on Walmart. So there's a more level playing field in terms of sales tax distribution, which I don't love, just how the market works. This I like this one. Keepo's all over the place on this stuff. We'll take a look here. 15.99 and oh interesting. Okay, so I mean this is another rock solid one, actually pretty low competition on this too. Wow, no one was on it in
yeah, what's the rate on that?
It's 37K. That's you don't normally see, yeah, you don't normally see products like that end up selling out. So we'll check this out. So what are we trying to pay? We got the max cost here, preferably $6, right, in that range. Oh, and it's a 2-pack though, that's the problem. So this would be close. It'd be close.
You're close.
Yeah, so 8, it's not going to work, right? Not bad at all, but let's see, right? 15. So this actually, there's a good chance this actually ends up being pretty good pretty soon because the offer count's going down. So right at 18, this totally makes sense. Bang.
Yeah, at 18, that's a winner.
And it's a bundle, so I don't love the operational drag of that. But if you need your first few sales, more than welcome to. And then repeat the exact same process. Come here. We know this is an arbitrageable product. Let's check out who's making money on it. Buy box statistics. Once again, the people with the big brains are the ones getting the buy box share, are the ones making money. We can see these review counts. And then this is a whole nother rabbit hole to go down just in terms of, different people who are looking at stuff. So I kind of just repeat this, right? And obviously, we've been at this for 5 minutes or whatever.
Right.
But this is something you're going to be doing every day for a while, right? And this manual stuff's what other people won't do. You know what I mean? But me personally, I have specific brands I really like. I'm like kind of a shoe guy. I do some different toys as well. So I'm able to, a lot more focus in here. I know some of my competition pretty easily, so I can go see what else they're moving and stuff like that, as I'm sure people do to me or whatever, but just part of it and everything like that. And that's that. Yeah. So I'm a big manual reverse sourcing guy. I like looking at long Cuba charts because I want to be able to repurchase stuff. Something like this, we can see that just based on the buy box distribution, wherever these guys were getting it, they were repurchasing. Otherwise, they wouldn't have this high buy box share over a long period of time, right? We hopped to the 180, switched up a little bit, right? Cosmic Toys, he was high. So these guys are probably replanning it, right? Or they wouldn't have this much buy box share, right? And we see that these guys have big brains based on their reviews. So these are people we want to emulate. They're people we want to compete with because we can see that they're making money.
Right.
And if we hop to the 30 days, we can see that pretty quickly. Oh, so this one actually is I would even look at the 30-day. That other product where the offer count skyrocketed, I wouldn't like, because if the 30 days is going to be all over the place because there was that increase in sellers. And with that, with an increase of sellers, it just creates naturally, supply and demand. Different stuff happens, but an item like this, right? These guys were chilling. No one was tanking, right? Which is totally, it's part of the game, whatever, but they're all probably repricing. They got a whole bunch of reviews. They're making money. They're probably splitting the buy box pretty clearly. And that led to, what is, and I mean, with a discount, right? Where was this? We saw it. Trying to figure out if this is on some other websites, right? It's like, it's very close to being good. You know what I mean? And who knows, there could be a coupon. I'm not going to click into it just because it would show my location and everything like that on the Walmart website. But you guys get the idea, right? So finding opportunities in arbitrageable brands, right? Which there's tons. I mean, I just like the Walmart ones because it's really relatable. I don't love that as in more advanced stuff, but that's an easy one to start with. Same thing for toys, although with toys, it's tough. And this is something I need to get better at, right? But non-Q4, I mean, I don't know what I'm doing with toys at all, but I know there's a bunch of arbitrageable toy brands as well. So you could start the rabbit hole there or any other stuff you guys have sold, right? All the stuff, the easiest items to source, one are stuff you've already sold. And then the second place being the stuff your competition's selling, in my opinion, definitely. So I really like that. And that's kind of the sauce I like in terms of manual reverse sourcing, which is a lot of what I do. I'll probably get some VAs eventually just because I'm expecting, I've gotten good at working around order cancels, hence why I can get quantities of stuff arbitrage wise. Will that be forever? Probably not. And then I'm going to need to expand them and everything like that. But yeah, I mean, I got a couple hundred SKUs, right? Probably 100 of them are good, whatever. So that adds up over time, especially stuff when you can repurchase it. And that comes back to the setting up a catch-all for unlimited emails, different stuff like that, prep center, tax-free state, all that, which is actually cool because everyone can do that, which is awesome. It's just, people won't. It's another layer of defense. And that's why I like that type of stuff.
Um, we looked at, I mean, you pulled up a couple items where, you know, increased seller count, price naturally, for the most part, comes down. It's
Yeah.
natural. That's what happens. People try to get the buy box, they drop the price. What I like to do in those items, it's almost like the new hot item. What I notice resellers do in general is they go after the new hot stuff or the new
Yeah.
hot lead. And then when it becomes not profitable, they forget about it. So what I actually like to do, I don't like to hop
Yes.
on it as I see. I
That's,
make a note and I check it a month, 2 months, 3 months later when most people have forgotten about it because they
oh
focus
yeah,
on the next
totally.
thing.
Yeah, and there was that one product we were on. Like I'm sure, like, we can pull up some of these other ones just to see if we can get an example. I think it was this one that was like that. But we can see here, right? It was literally like, I think it was this one. It was either this one or the other one. I'll pull that up too, just for sake of example. I could look at keep the charts all day. I'm like a professional keep a chart reader.
To me, it's fun. It's like,
yeah, dude. Like here we go. 3 years ago, this skyrocketed for whatever reason. Who knows why? The rank was also a lot lower too.
yep.
Actually not quite. But yeah, right. There's all different types of stuff like that, and we can see, right, price varies over time. You only need like finite, like there's stuff all the time, like toys that spike up like crazy in December. You can make a bag off that, right? What I've noticed from like, you know, I guess almost a year and a half of doing this is it's like a lot of small sprints, which are super profitable, which like for me was last August, kind of last month too. And then like December, obviously. And then it's kind of just treading water, which is normally going to be a lower net margin, you know, in the months that are, you know, aren't great. But then like December, you know, I'm trying to put up like 500K, like a 19-20% net, something like that after everything like that. That'd be a huge bag. And I think I can do it, right? Because I did about half that last December. But the sprints, there's small sprints and you just treading water, you know, moving what you can and everything like that, and understanding that it's a game that fluctuates just based on you getting deals and stuff like that.
Yeah, you know, obviously Q4 is big for people, especially if you do toys, sportswear, clothes, that type of thing. And it's where a lot of people can make a lot of money. But
it's amazing. Yeah, I can't wait. I'm so much better this year.
Like this past Q4 was my first one on Amazon. So I was just eBay, and it still blew my mind. And it still blows my mind, like especially when I get $5 on, you know, certain items, how much will fly through in a day. Like,
it's crazy. Yeah, 100 in a day.
Yeah, 100 in a day. Like I was selling Crystal Light tea. I was selling 100 a day.
That's insane, dude. And like that's the problem is when it like when you're new, the problem is finding products. And then like as you go, right, and this fluctuates once again, like it's finding money to buy stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, your boy was like, I had over 6 figures on the Amex in December. Like, and rightfully, like to make 50K in profit, of course I'll do that. You know what I mean? But it's like there's some risk taking you know, involved. I'm a young guy, like not our responsibility, whatever. So that like helped with that and everything. But yeah, I mean, this is like really a good thing. It's pretty permissionless in the sense that obviously, you know, Amazon lets us sell on their platform, which is amazing. I hate the Amazon slander that I see on the timeline sometimes. Like Amazon does a lot of good things for us, right? And it's permissionless in a way that you can go, right, for the most part, right, order cancels happen, whatever. You can just go, but walk in, buy something, and if it works market wise, you can make money on Amazon, and you don't have to talk to anyone. You don't have to clock in anywhere. You know what I mean? Like you just literally you just buy it or order it, whatever, and happens. It's a beautiful thing, and you know, I'm glad all you guys are interested in it as well, because it's few and far between in real life. So I need people to talk about it too online.
Yeah, it's, you know, I think about how reselling has changed my life. And I think, you know, there's some weeks where I work more than what I used to at maybe like an old 9 to 5, but I wouldn't have it any other way because it's like, take for example, like I'm busting my ass this week. Like I'm dead tired right now, but I'm busting my ass this week because I know I get to go play golf all day on Saturday.
Yes, sir.
Like that's just, or like if I want to not do anything for a day, I can do that. And you just put systems in place. You can't do that really as much when you're first starting, especially if you're if you're wanting to do it full time in a shorter period of time. But I think the misconception is people will come in and they're like, oh, I'm going to do a $40,000 sales month my first month. And is it possible? Potentially you got to have a lot of cash on hand.
And it's just naturally I'm like very a risk averse person, so I'm like start small, right? If they like, what's your answer when you say like, in terms of Amazon, not like, garage sales, what do you say when someone says, how much money should you have to start?
For Amazon,
Yeah.
um, to get a feel for it, I mean, if you're taking in, like, let's say take basic subscriptions.
Yeah.
Let's just say Seller Central or Amazon, so $40 a month if you do the pro account. Keepa, that's really all you technically need to get started.
Yeah,
So,
like something like this to get the ball rolling.
Like $500.
Exactly my answer, right? 500 to 1,000, right? And if someone says $5,000, I say, okay, add that as you go, but get some proof of concept, right? Because the last thing you want, right? Like everyone, like there's a ton of ways to make money online. This just happens to be what clicks for you and I, some other people in here and everything like that. We're all trying to make that happen, right? But there's a ton of other ways to make money online. I've tried a lot of them as well. You know what I mean? But the key is being in the arena and trying as much stuff as possible. And that's why if you have $5,000, right, test this out, see how it goes, then add capital to it. In that, like, with 1,000, right, instead of risking a whole bunch, because you're going to make mistakes. And I much rather have the mistake be a $30 mistake than a $300 mistake, and that might throw you off and whatever. You know what I mean? All that stuff.
Yeah, and I think it's really testing out. And I've watched even people that have been in here for 6 months, a year, maybe they've been in here because we're over 2 years old now, who have, and we've actually kind of transformed where, you watch people how they'll start off here and then they kind of find they just test out, they don't test out every single niche at first, but I do think it's important to eventually venture out and test, maybe I used to do just mostly toys, and now I'm kind of more health and beauty-ish with some toys for Q4.
Yeah, I mean, that's a more mature category. You know what I mean? There's more replenishability there. There's less volatility. You're not going to make 100% ROI and sell 50 of something a day that's 400 sales rank like you would with a toy. But with that comes less competition and comes more longevity, at least in a lack of volatility.
Right. So it's really just kind of testing out stuff. But like, if someone wants to start off selling toys, my advice, I'm not sure what your advice would be. It's like, okay, well, I want you to, like, if it's me, if I was starting over again, I would have spent more time doing Keepa stuff.
Oh, yeah.
First got started. And I think people want to rush into it. And I think it's, people are like, I want results. And that's fine because everyone wants to get results. But if I were to go back and if I were to change anything, I would have opened up my Amazon account sooner. But I probably would have just spent the first month looking and studying Keepa stuff and maybe ordered 1 or 2 products instead of just randomly, because I made some bad purchases in the beginning.
And those are good lessons though, because you understand why they aren't good. Is very important as well.
Yeah, but it's also just splitting up and seeing what works, what doesn't. What may work for you may not work for me, and what may work for let's say Jackson or Brandon or Alyssa may not work for me. Everyone, there's a ton of different ways to skin a cat. Essentially, you just got to figure out which one works best for you, your schedule, and what your goals are, because what your goals are going to probably be a little different from mine, and what someone who's working full time and just wants to make a couple extra $1,000 a month is going to be different. So
different. Yeah. And that's a beautiful thing too. I mean, dude, seriously, that is a beautiful thing to be able to do this part-time. Like, I've had a few people on the podcast who do part-time, and that's what life's about. It's not just about working all day. You know what I mean? It's about designing the business around how you want to live life. And that, being able to golf, different stuff like that. Being able to see that snake in the yard at 9:45 on a Tuesday morning or so. What's his name again?
His name's Fred.
What's up?
So the story behind that is when my mom bought this house, the previous owners, they had it it was unwritten, but they said there's a snake that comes out every spring. We've named him Fred. We just ask that you don't kill him. It's just a rat snake. He's been coming out for 10+ years.
Wow, what a dude! And like, snakes are scary, man. But what a homie for the longevity there.
Yeah. He's more consistent than most people. So
facts, dude, facts.
Awesome, man. So let's see. Talk about, I know I've promoted your podcast a ton because I've been on it and among other people. And I tell people to listen to it because there's a ton of gold in almost every episode that I've listened to. You want to tell everyone where you can find that at, and then we can open up some questions.
Yeah. So it's the Buy Box Bandits podcast, and then on all platforms, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. You can find me, Flips for Miles, 3 YouTube videos a week, some shit posts on the timeline, some value on the timeline, I hope, and all that. Yeah, but in the Buy Box Bandits podcast, you can like start at the YouTube, but it's available on all platforms as well.
Beautiful. I love it. Learned a lot. Just even if you're not, like for me, I listened to a couple people who are doing wholesale. I don't remember off the top of my head who it was, but not that I'm doing wholesale, but you can still take some of their tactics they use and some of the gems they drop and apply it to your business.
Yeah. And it's just hearing conversations about this stuff, because you're not going to get that in real life. In an ideal world, obviously you would, right? But if everyone was doing this, it wouldn't work. Right. So you gotta find people to, just content in general about it. It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Awesome. We're going to open it up to any questions. If you guys want to type any questions in chat or unmute yourself and ask Miles, we'll go for a few more minutes. Anyone got any questions? Don't be shy. I mean, this is your chance to ask. People are shy.
At what point do you think it'd be beneficial to start adding a prep center? Like if you're doing, I'm not doing a crazy amount of volume. I feel like I'm like right in the middle of flirting with the line of I can still handle it all myself. It's no big deal to me. But when as I'm getting more into OA, like the tax benefits is what I'm really worried about. Like around what volume wise does what you're saving in taxes kind of outweigh what you're paying in prep costs?
Well, it's more of a per unit thing, in that if you have to pay 7% of sales tax and you're buying your ASP's $90, right? Your average cost is probably like 45. So then on every, item, you're going to have to pay an extra $4 or $3.50, whatever the math ends up being. And you're probably only going to pay $1.75 for prep costs, right? And you're going to save the sales tax money. So you're going to save money and not have to worry about the box costs, the tape, the infrastructure, the man labor to get that done. So all that, right? And say, do you have extra capital you need to deploy? That's just a theoretical question. And you're spending time prepping stuff, right? Then that's probably not a good use of time. You know what I mean? And like me personally, like I did 300K in a month all myself, and it was terrible, right? And it was worth it for the money, but it was like, no, I actually do look forward to running that again with a lot more prep center stuff for December. I think I can do a lot more. But yeah, I mean, it's not like with you personally, depending on what state you live in, you might save money using the prep center and not have to worry about the infrastructure, the intake.
Yeah, I'm in Ohio, so it's like 7.5% or something.
Yeah. So on everything like over $20 or whatever, you're going to save money, or what is probably like 27 or something like that. You got to do the math. But yeah, I mean, for most stuff, you're going to save money depending on what your ASP is.
Ryan asked in the chat,
wow,
prep center questions to ask during interviewing, any red flags to stay away from?
I mean, look at their reviews, right? And also, right, you're in, PFP, right? Ask what other people are using. You know what I mean? Get a sense of that, right? Some people keep it quiet. I personally do, just because I don't want, like, if I endorse someone and then they ended up scamming both of us, right? It'd be terrible, because like we both ended up, you know what I mean? But like, yeah, I mean, so ASP's average sale price. And yeah, so you just, what's your unit minimum, per unit cost? Do you charge for bundles? Do you charge for more specific items? A lot of them have good, anyone you want to work with is going to have a good website that'll fill you in on it. And everything like that. Ask them, like, are they at capacity or not? What's the turnaround time? That kind of thing. But a lot of these good ones you can find on Google, and they'll have, requirement, or they'll have all their stuff on the website. But I would definitely, get on the phone with them prior. That's what I did.
That's actually what I did today. I was looking in the prep center. I got a recommendation from someone, jumped on the phone with them, asked some questions. I was like, you know what, sounds good. We're gonna roll with it, because I got a kid coming soon, so I need to get things rolling. I don't want to spend as much time prepping or in store.
Yeah, and it's like you can totally do both. Like I personally, for right now at least, I'm doing both, just because I don't want to send them 100 grand worth it. You know what I mean? Got to use
right. Yeah.
a bit and everything like that.
Yeah. Definitely like, even when I start sending in more stuff for OA to them, I'm still going to hit my ollies because I it's just a time to get out of the house.
Yeah.
And I think Matt's on here. Matt's the one who got me into ollies. So Greg F, does ollies take tax exempt forms? Yes, they do. You got to do it you got to bring in your resale certificate. You got to fill out I forget what the form number is, and they just take copies of it with your ID. So you can get tax exempt there.
Top stores to buy items from. I'm not sharing that, unfortunately. That would give away a lot of stuff, unfortunately. OA from retail. Yeah, big retail websites. Yep. How do you order hundreds? So some sites cancel, obviously. So staying away from like Target, for example. And then playing with other sites, different emails, adding an apartment number to your address, phone numbers, playing with these different websites. That comes again, right? Like my friends and I have gone to work on certain websites to crack the code, and it's worked, and it's made me tens of thousands in profit, not getting cancels on sites that normally cancel me, right? Checking out with PayPal, not checking out with PayPal, using an account, using PayPal, not using an account, using PayPal, playing with that kind of thing.
Yeah, I've noticed that when I was ordering, I think it was a Best Buy they had, I forget what toy it was, but I was trying to order as many as I possibly could. And it was limiting to how many each account could order. Like you could only place an order of 5 at a time and 25 total. So I would put my 25 total on the account, and then I would log out and continue as guest, and it would let me order as much as I wanted. And it must have been a glitch in the system, but
exactly, right? Yeah, and like people won't take the time to do that, and that made you a lot of money. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean you should be cool with your UPS and FedEx drivers, but like, yeah, I mean it's the same. Like you obviously gotta let them know, and I would test it out once and then make sure. But for the most part, yeah. Tactile arbitrage. I like it. I used to use it. I haven't in like a year. Everyone has their VAs run the same cookie cutter searches every day. What I do like, and I will preface this, TA is awesome if you use it correctly. In my opinion, using it correctly is using Rakuten as a search engine to find sales, plugging those sales in for the discount filter on TA, and then you get access to items other people won't. Also Tactile Expander, if you've never heard of that, which it's actually really low key, gives you access to like, I think 100 extra sites to search from, some of the biggest retailers in the game. So that's a game changer as well. And that is actually pretty affordable. It's actually a lot more affordable than just normal TA, but it's a plug-in as a part of TA.
Alyssa, I mean, maybe Miles, off the top of my head, other retailers that do tax exempt online.
Home Depot,
I know Family Dollar, Dollar General, those you can do tax exempt online. I don't know. Do you know of any others?
Amazon, I'm not sure if it chat, but yeah, Home Depot, Lowe's, I think. I don't know, like any site you can just Google like tax exemption and see if it works. But I want to be buying stuff from people that don't tax exempt,
right?
Because I don't want everyone else to be able to get it,
right? So even if your home isn't an apartment, putting a number works.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be cool with your drivers, but like,
yeah,
do like a test order and let them know. But mine never cared. Lowest ROI you'd say is worth it? That's a great question. It depends on the longevity of the item. If I'm going to be able to going to be able to sell it once, it's from a giant sale. 27% probably isn't worth the time. If I see a rock solid keep it chart and it's on a site I already buy from, right? Prior longevity, they don't cancel. Of course, I'll take 27% ROI when I can buy it probably for the next 6 months and repurchase it, because that's when you see the compound effect of the hours you put in sourcing. And that 3 months down the line, you're buying stuff you found a month ago, month and a half ago, and so on. Like I sell stuff I was selling, skis I was selling a year ago. Still not a lot, but a couple.
This brings up a good question, because I've heard some of these big people doing like 50, 60 million a year, like Amazon Lit and other people like that. So I forget what the guy's name, but he doesn't even look at ROI from perspective. He looks at dollar per unit. Do you think there's a,
Yeah. Oh,
do
that
you ever
makes
consider
total
that?
sense.
So like someone, you know, there was things that I was done last year where maybe the sales price was like $45. It was costing me, or maybe it was like $55. Maybe it cost me $30 to purchase, and I was making $5 profit, but it was selling instantly. Some people, most people from
Yeah.
an ROI perspective are like, that's not worth it. But when I know it's going to sell instantly and it took me no time to prep, I'll take $5 bills
Yeah, and
depending on the item.
yeah, and if it's like grocery or something where there's not high returns, that's important as well. And then, yeah, I mean, that totally makes sense. I think that argument makes a lot more sense when you're doing like small and light and a lot of volume wholesale, just because you like playing in the percentages a lot lower. But I mean, those guys know a lot more about Amazon than I do. So I think like clearly, I have a lot to learn. That makes a ton of sense as well. And, maybe I should start thinking about it that way. But yeah, that totally makes sense too. The ease of purchase, right? That's the most underrated metric.
Right.
And all this stuff is ease of purchase.
Yeah, it's like, what would you rather? I say this from like strictly an RA perspective. Would you rather try to go drive around to a bunch of stores trying to find the hot product that just dropped for 150% ROI, or would you rather? And this is me. I would rather just buy 100 items that I can sell and get $4 profit on each one, and I know I can get all 100 at one store, and that's it.
Yeah, more buy box share on that, probably longevity. You know what I mean? I'm a fan of all that stuff. Easier to reprice, all that.
Exactly. Awesome. Anyone else got anything before we let Miles go? Appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, online discount codes, absolutely. It's site dependent. I do a lot of work on like 15% email sign up coupons, create a new account, that kind of thing. Set up what's called a catchall. I'll put that in the chat. It's like you can get infinite emails essentially. Just like look up it's kind of confusing and it's hard to set up, but you do it once and it works forever. Cashback apps, absolutely. You find discount codes from looking in cashback apps and filtering on Rakuten to the hot deals. You'll be able to get access to a ton of discount codes and then filter those into your TA searches. Just factor them in on sourcing. You can use that as a search engine to find sites to go through manually too.
Awesome. How do you find the right variations? Interesting.
Yeah.
Good question.
So yeah, filtering the review count to see which variation's getting the most reviews, but they also, each one has a unique Keepa chart. So you can tell what's moving. You know what I mean? I don't even really look at the review percentages. A lot of people do. I think that's like a contrarian opinion I have, but they all have specific Keepa charts. Do you use Keepa directly for sourcing? Absolutely. I would probably have a job if, I didn't learn how to get ungated and use Keepa.
Yeah.
But that's bad.
Actually, kind of talking about that, I don't know if you know this, but we've talked about it a ton. You can use Amazon Business Method to get ungated just about anything.
Yeah, man. So I'm sus about having a second, I never have like a non-prime business yet. I'm just sus, dude, for whatever reason.
It's like, that's what, I don't know anyone, obviously, like brands like LOL, you're not going to be able to because they don't allow anyone. But it makes it so easy for people to get started.
Oh yeah, no.
Instead of waiting for Frontier Co-op, which could take weeks, or sometimes EE, you try to order something, they're out of stock.
Yeah,
they push their ship dates by 10 months. It just makes life so much easier.
Agreed. Yeah, I think I do definitely have to set that up.
Dude, you got to. It's a game changer.
Yeah, I need on gating.
It gives people an advantage for the people that don't, for the higher quality brands like the Calvin Klein stuff that people would normally overlook. They're like, I'm not going to go that route. Man, that opens up a ton of doors for people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I did. You're absolutely right. I got to figure that out. For sure.
Awesome. Well, I think that's it. So, Miles, thanks for coming on. Appreciate your time.